morning, Chuggalos. Today is day one of the Brew Crew podcast Christmas Advent Calendar Barrel House collaboration special. That's going to be a long ass acronym, but oh well. It's been a year since we've done this. Life's been eventful, you know what I mean? Done a couple things, you know what I mean? I went to a couple concerts. I'm gonna put pictures maybe somewhere, you know what I mean? Decided to do a life update, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And my wife and I, we adopted a dog. Rescued him from the mean streets of Detroit. His name's Frank. That's a very Detroit name, Frank. And then I was best man in one of my best friend's weddings. So, again, pictures will be out and about. Hopefully I have the editing prowess to actually make that happen. And in other news, I'm obviously doing this video, as we do. Things will be a little different this year. I am splitting this calendar with my father, aka Chuggalo, my dad, aka Chuggalo Deuce. So he and I will be intermixed. So that might be why you don't see as many videos. But I will also be reporting on behalf of Chunkle Mark. I feel like I'm fucking with this a lot. I'm gonna stop. I'll be reporting on Chunkle Mark's behalf. He is yet again a contributor, loyal Chunkle Mark. And then we've got some new Chuggalos this year. I'll be reporting for my Chuggalo, my sister, and brother-in-law, Chuggalo Corey and Trey. And maybe Chuggalo Kenny if they're cool. I mean, he's a year and a half old. He's old enough to drink, I think. I don't know. I don't have anything clever to say there. I apologize. But I've got the list here, and if I'm looking at this correctly, this might be the list that Phil actually he reorganized it. If I'm looking at this correctly, this might be the list used to actually create our Advent calendar. It's got a really nice forward by Gus. Love him. And the reminder on the bottom, do yourself a favor, keep the shorties and hoppy beers cold. And that just applies to everything. That just applies to everything. Not even Advent calendar. Keep them cold. Keep the shorties cold. But to start off today, we do have a shorty. And it is, in fact, cold. This one is Branch and Bone Harvest Haze. It is an IPA. 6.4%. I think it's... Supposedly it's wet hopped IPA. I originally kept thinking this was West Coast IPA. I'm mistaken. And then something that that doesn't help at all. The cap, as Barrel House does, they keep their caps up to date. You know what I mean? They always got the new cool cap. No cap. That's probably old news at this point. Do people say no cap anymore? Sound off in the comments if you're hip, cool kid lingo. But this bottle cap, if I'm not mistaken, it is the chandelier above the bar at the Barrel House. Chuggalo Better Matt or Chuggalo Gus, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what I think it is. But I'm going to give this one a crack. I sort of I don't want to say sort of. I mean, I've read Chunkle Mark's email already. I've already gotten the text from Chuggalo, Corey, and Trey. I'm not gonna let it sway my thoughts, my opinions on this beer. I haven't even drank it yet. It's a little bit later in the evening. I've already had my dinner. I've already been to the gym. I have drank a nice seltzer water to clear my palate, and I feel like I'm going in on this as prepared as I can. I've waited all year for this, and here we are. So, cheers. The eye contact is important when you cheers. That Chunkle Dad will get that one. And it's cold. That's the point, right? Kept it in the fridge. But let's see. Off the top, first couple swigs, it's definitely got that hoppiness that an IPA does. That's crazy, right? It, as a shorty, it won't have any info on it, clearly. And I kind of pride myself on not being swayed by can, bottle art, any of that. Like, I say art. I'm more so descriptors. I don't want to be influenced by the bottle says, this tastes like, candy canes and gumdrops and sugar plums. You know what I mean? Like, and then it ends up tasting like BO and Swass. Like, not this beer, just hypothetically. This, to me, it's a, Branch and Bone, heavy hitters in the Dayton area. One of the best. I think they've won Dayton's best brewery at least once. I'm fairly certain. I mean, cite your sources, Steve. No, I won't. Simply, I choose not to. I'm saying it confidently enough. That means you have to believe me, dummy. I'm fairly certain they've won at least a state-related beer competition, maybe a national beer competition as well. But this one, it's got like super lingers that hoppy flavor. I mean, I took a swig probably, 15 seconds ago, and this is still keeping that. I don't know how to describe it. It's very not cotton mouth feel. It's just that like, I don't know how to say this without being sus. It fills your mouth. Pause. It's one note. It's IPA, but it's got like a lingering. It's like a powerful mouthfeel. Again, but I think it's super solid. But in the grand scheme of things, this does seem like a pretty one-note IPA. Very I don't mean to say forgettable, but if I was, and this is 6% by the way. I don't know if I've said that. To me, I don't really think it tastes like a 6%. Yeah, that's going up in the burp compilation. Shout out that guy. But I don't know. It's very average. Now, it's average for Branch and Bone, or it's average for just like IPAs. We'll see. And by we'll see, I mean I'm going to tell you right now. in the grand scheme of things, this is a Branch and Bone beer, and I think it's good. That means I feel like it's done better than Joe Schmo IPA, whatever the hell. Could you rock a 6-pack of this? Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. It's super satisfying. I think this is one of those beers that would be really good. Like a party beer, you know what I mean? Like just like you could drink a couple of these in an afternoon at a football. I'm not a sports guy, historically not a sports guy, but like a get together, a sporting event. Thanksgiving was a week ago. A couple of these at the family gathering. You know what I mean? At the function. And I feel like you'd be all right. You'd be okay. But it goes down super easy. I say as I'm like halfway into it. But I'm going to say Branch and Bone Harvest Haze, 6.4% wet hopped IPA. I think I'm going to give it a 3.25. And for the sake of documentation, as I know Matt cares. If I know somebody that cares, it's Matt. Matt cares. And all you Matts listening, I'll let you decide which one it is. You can have a care contest. Yeah, 3.25 from me, Chuggalo Stev. And without further ado, I'm going to get into the other reviews I've got to what's the word? Pontificate. I think that's the big fancy word, the big Scrabble word that Matt likes to say. Or I get to share the. I probably didn't even use that word right, if we're being completely honest. But starting off, I've got Chunkle Mark, and Chuggalo Mark. Excellent word, Chunkalo Mark. Excellent wordsmith. So eloquently puts everything. Expect some fantastic, just sonnets and soliloquies, just beautiful explanations for his opinions, his feelings. So starting off with Chunkle Mark, I've got today's feature is a nice cold bottle Branch and Bone Harvest Haze, which I'm told is an IPA, but doesn't really taste like one. It's curious. Not bad though. Kind of smooth with a bit of bitter undertaste that I like. And Chunkle Mark, notorious bitter IPA enjoyer. Like Giga Chad IPA enjoyer. And then he follows it up with, I'll give this one a 3.5. And, I feel like that's fair. Not to, I guess, gild the lily here. I kind of get the impression from, at least the people in my sphere, I've yet to watch the Mothership episode with Matt and JT. I feel like it's just kind of a one-noter. Is it forgettable? But I think it's just an IPA. But it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But now getting into the text message, Chunkle Mark, I've got email, text message from the kids in the future here. Shout out Chunkle Mark for being a email enjoyer. So this is from Chuggalo. Wow, I'm gonna get those mixed up a lot. Chuggalo's sister and brother-in-law says, "Happy first day of beer month. My rating is a 4 on the Harvest Haze." This is from Chuggalo's sister. I like the smell and the fact that it is a light beer, but 6.4%. And then Chuggalo brother-in-law, Chuggalo Trey, is giving it a 3. I think it was, quote, I think it was dope. I wasn't blown away, but I didn't hate it either, end quote. So, we've got a 3.5, a 4, a 3, a 3.25. I think we've got a pretty good mix. I think we've got a pretty decent mix between everybody. But I guess without, drawing this thing on longer than it needs to, I think that's it. I think that's an excellent way to button up this video, this review, this first day of the Brew Crew podcast Christmas Advent Calendar Barrel House combination beer drinking party time. So I guess that's it. You're all wonderful people. Happy holidays. I'm glad that you're here. Thanks. Bye.